Hello, there's all the comments coming through. Happy Friday. Let's see. Hope y'all are doing okay. We're gonna do a little bit of yoga in a little bit. We're gonna see if anybody else wants to join us. Hey Rebecca, good to see you. Thanks for joining me. I'm excited to continue your great intro to the yoga that's been keeping us all sane during these days. All right. So, all right. So as we get started, a little bit about myself. My name is Carly. I graduated in 2009. I was an elementary education major. And here I am, 11 years later, still teaching, not quite elementary, but I use those lessons every day that I learned, really value my time at Stetson. So this is such an honor to be able to take over the Facebook page for the alumni, hopefully see some more familiar faces, at least in your little bubbles that pop up in the comments. So thank you so much to Alex and the alumni team for having me. I've been teaching yoga for about 3 years and practicing for 8 or 9 about at this point. And I was trying to think about when my first yoga class was, and I'm pretty sure I tried it at Stetson. I wasn't too thrilled with it, wasn't too into it at that time. So it's funny how life works. Here I am. I am teaching now full time, which was not quite the plan quite yet, but due to the pandemic and layoffs, here we are. So I'm grateful to have this practice to not only support me in getting through life, but also emotionally, physically, spiritually. It's been a wonderful practice, and I'm so excited to share a little bit with you. But first, to start off, what is yoga? What have you heard? What do you know? You can type your little definitions in the comments, or things that come to mind when you think of yoga. And I'll give you a couple minutes here and give a couple minutes for the comments to show up. Okay. What is yoga? Anybody? I know we've got a little bit of delay with the comments, so hang tight for just a second. Let a few of those come through. Union. Yes, that's the literal definition of one of the literal definitions of union, a bringing together and connection. Yeah, good. Hi, Megan. Thanks. Any other thoughts on what yoga means or what yoga is? All right, I'll check back those in a little bit. But yoga is, yes, it's connection, it's union, and one of the main definitions you'll maybe hear as you study yoga more, it's the calming of the mental chatter. Balance, someone said, yes. So trying to find that balance between everything going on in our heads, our biological processing of the world around us, of being human. Another Valerie said mindful. Yes, it's drawing some mindfulness into the body. So being able to drop out of our animal head and be able to tune in with the body and the breath. Yoga is a philosophical practice. It's not a religion. You can practice it no matter what religion you are. It's a great way to connect deeper with the divine, whatever that means to you, if that's something that you subscribe to, that you follow. It doesn't have to be religious, though. Amy says there's an opportunity to recenter yourself and focus, for sure. Yes. So through these practices of yoga, one of which is asana, which we'll practice a little bit today, we're able to go deeper into ourselves. We're able to calm the chatter, those big wavelengths of the mind, to kind of drop back down into the moment. And this provides multiple health benefits. You can look up, there's slowly more and more research coming out about yoga and its use as complementary medicine for lots of things. But there's the other practices of yoga there's sets of ethics called the yamas and the niyamas, kind of like those thou shalt nots and the practices that bring us calm, cleanliness, goodwill to other people, do unto others, those kind of things. And then asana, of course, which is the physical practice, what most people think of with yoga. Yoga is everything, yes. There are other practices include meditation, concentration, finding that state of awareness, of meditation called dhyana. That's kind of like the state that you get to. And also breath work, breath control, pranayama. And another is all of those kind of come together will bring you to a state of bliss, which is kind of what a lot of people will be seeking. How do we escape from all of the crazy things going on? How do we overcome our physical pain, our emotional pain? How do we just enjoy life more? So yoga is a big part of that, and asana, which is the practice we'll be doing today, is just a little piece of that. So I just wanted to give you a little taste of kind of the full practice, because it's so much more than fitness. It's so much more than just being still and oming. So I hope that if this is your first time, do we have any first time yoga people? Anybody have never done yoga before? All right. We'll see if those kind of come through in a minute. But I love teaching beginners. I've taught a lot of mostly beginner to intermediate classes, so I'm very familiar with getting to introduce people to yoga for the first time, which is such an honor, especially if you weren't too into it at first like me. So without further ado, I'm going to step back on the mat here. I won't be able to see your comments as I'm flowing, so please feel free to leave whatever and I'll check in at the end. But if you don't have a mat, that's totally fine. You know, back when yoga was first being introduced and discovered from within the gurus and the ancient Indian and Southeast Asian people, they didn't have fancy yoga mats, so they just used the floor or a towel. So you don't need fancy props, you don't need fancy clothes, you just come as you are, move with your body and move with your breath. So a couple of y'all had mentioned yoga is union and connection. So find that connection with your breath. As long as you can breathe in a pose, you're doing okay. So I'll meet you back on the mat in just a minute. So we'll begin in a comfortable seat, which can look like anything. It can be cross-legged, you can sit on your knees. You can also do yoga from a chair, so just do your best to follow along wherever you're at today. Try to sit up tall, however tall that works for you. We all have different anatomy, different issues going on, so you know, you can prop yourself up on a pillow, sitting on a pillow, or prop some pillows underneath your knees if sitting on the floor is a little painful for you. Again, yoga is not about finding the perfect look. I always say in my classes, it's about how you feel, not how it looks. So pay attention to that as you come to the middle of your mat and just begin to relax the face, relax the shoulders, maybe close the eyes. Begin to breathe deeply, filling up the belly, then the lungs. Exhaling through the nose, pressing the chest in, squeezing out all that stale air. Taking a deep inhale, filling up as much as you can. And slow exhale in and out through the nose. Begin to exhale a little longer than your inhales, maybe just a second or two more. Allowing the body to reduce its inclination towards that fight, flight, or freeze response. Slower exhale will help you relax down and calm the mind. And inhale, begin to bring your awareness into your space, wherever you're seated right now. Into the body. And blink open the eyes. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead, reaching up with the hands. Press the sitting bones down as the mat, release the shoulders. One more inhale here. And then we're going to exhale, drop the right hand to the mat, reach the left arm up, little side body stretch here. So as you're finding some space and length in the left side, also find that in the right side. So don't completely dump down into the right. Stay lifted, keep the spine straight as you press with the right hand away and lift through the left armpit. On your inhale, come back up, lower that left hand down. And if you are seated cross-legged, go ahead and switch the crossing of the legs so we even it out through the hips. If you're seated a different way and you can switch, go ahead and do that. Again, get yourself grounded down on the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Relax the shoulders, straighten the spine. Exhale, lower the left hand to the mat, reach the right arm up. Keep reaching and then begin to slowly curl into the left side. Remember finding space in both side bodies. Lengthening on your inhales. Exhaling, maybe lowering a little bit further down. Maybe you're just thinking about it. Inhale the arm back up. Exhale it down. Bring your hands to your knees, and we're going to take seated cat and cow. So if you're familiar with yoga, you know cat and cow is usually done from tabletop position, your hands underneath your shoulders, knees under your hips. We're going to take a seated version of that. So inhaling, rolling the shoulders down the back, sitting up nice and straight. On an inhale, you're going to pull the heart through the shoulders, lift open the throat, drop the head back slightly. This is your breath in, nice and spacious. Exhale, then curl the spine, holding onto the knees, press the back of the heart towards the back of your room. Tuck the chin, exhale. Your inhale is going to lift you up and open. Exhaling, curling it in. Finding that cat pose. It's called cat. You're rounding your back like a little angry cat. And then inhaling, lifting up, pressing the belly and the heart forward. Chin comes up. Exhale it out. We'll take another couple rounds of these. These are great for your midday stretch, anytime throughout the day if you've been sitting for a long time. And coming back to neutral spine. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. We're going to take a gentle twist. So turn towards the right. Keep your hips facing forward. Twisting towards the right. Drop your right hand behind you. Reach the left arm up. Inhale, lift a little higher. Exhale, lower that left hand to the right knee. Lengthen through the spine on the inhale. Exhale, look over your back right shoulder. You can also look straight ahead. Wherever feels neutral and comfortable for your neck is fine. Spend one more round of breath here. Continue to exhale a little longer than your inhales. Keeping your awareness in your body. On your next inhale, release the twist coming up, bringing both arms up. Exhale, twist towards the left. Left arm comes behind you, right hand to your knee. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, maybe looking over the back shoulder. Find some expansion on the breath in. A little bit more of a twist on the breath out. And on your next inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, plant the hands down in front of you, coming to tabletop, hands and knees. And we're going to press up to our first downward facing dog. So go ahead and tuck your toes under, lift the knees, and then send the hips back. Look at your knees and slowly lift the hips, straightening out the legs, keeping a deep bend in your knees, especially if you've got tight hamstrings or if you haven't moved much today. It's okay if your knees are bent here. You want to create somewhat of a triangle with your body, and the tailbone is going to be the top of that triangle. Fingertips are spread wide, heels are pressing towards the mat. They don't have to touch though. Press your chest towards your thighs, look back at your knees, tucking the chin, take a deep breath in. Exhale, look at your hands and slowly make your way to the top of the mat for a forward fold. Bending the knees, let the head hang heavy. On an inhale, come up halfway, so bring your hands to your shins or your thighs, wherever you need to straighten through the spine. Looking straight down, relax the shoulders, pressing them away from the ears. One more breath in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend your knees and roll the spine up, one vertebrae at a time. Taking your time to come all the way to stand. Shoulders, head and neck come up last. Take a deep breath in. Exhale it out. So I'm going to take you through a few sun salutations, which are pretty much the basis of any standing series of postures that you're going to do in most yoga classes. So there's sun salutation A and sun salutation B, and if you take a lot of yoga classes, you're going to recognize this flow. You see it throughout classes. It'll get switched up a little bit for a little creativity and fun. But these two flows are great for beginners, great for anyone at any time to kind of get warmed up. Like I said, in the middle of a lunch break or in the middle of your work day, if you need just a quick little stretch, these are two great flows that are pretty easy to remember, pretty easy to look up, that don't take a lot of space or too much effort, depending on how much you move throughout the day. They can get pretty sweaty the more times that you do them. So for our sun salutation A, we're going to start at the top of the mat in mountain pose. So your feet are about hips width distance apart, shoulders relaxed down the back, palms facing forward, slight bend in the knees. So we're not locking out the legs, keeping the leg channels open, facing forward. Ground down through the feet. Inhale, drawing up energy through the earth, up the spine, into the heart space. Lengthen through the back of the neck. And imagine a ray of light coming out through the top of your head. Take a few breath cycles of that air coming in, cycling through, out, through the nose. And then on your next inhale, we're going to reach the arms up overhead. Big breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Slight bend in the knees, folding over the legs with the torso. Your hands don't have to touch the mat, but take a deep bend in your knees, especially the first couple forward folds of the day. Your inhale brings you to halfway lift. So once again, hands to your shins or your thighs. If you need to come up, straight back here. So bend your knees as much as you need. You want to straight back. This is your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees as much as you need to plant your hands and step your feet back to the top of a push-up. We call this plank pose. At any time you can lower your knees, and I'm actually going to take you through a little modified Sun A here. So from plank, you're going to lower your knees, and then keeping your hips lifted, lower your chest between your hands and lower your chin. You look like a little inchworm. It's a little awkward, but it's okay. Stay with yourself. Bring the elbows in, and on the next inhale, pull forward. This is baby cobra pose. Roll the shoulders down the back. Fingertips are spread wide next to your chest, tops of the feet pressing into the mat. You should be able to lift your hands here. Most of the strength is coming from the core and the back. Lower your gaze to the top of the mat, or a few inches, or about a foot in front of your fingertips. Take a breath in here. Exhale, lower the forehead. We're going to press up to plank. And back to downward facing dog, shifting the hips up and back, walking the heels in if you need. Fingertips spread wide, looking back at your knees, press your chest towards your thighs. Lifting through the sitting bones. 2 more breaths in here. Deep breath in. Slow exhale. 1 more round of breath. Slow exhale. On an inhale, lift your hands. And step forward to the top of the mat, taking as many steps as you need, finding your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then inhale to stand, but take your time, roll the spine. Slow motion, coming up. Lifting the chin, lifting the gaze, arms come up overhead with you this time. Exhale to mountain, standing at the top of the mat, firm in the feet. Exhale, release. And that is 1 round of our Sun Salutation A. So let's take that about 1 more time, and then we'll move to Sun Salutation B, which is a little bit more involved. So again, feet about hips width distance apart, or whatever feels grounding for you. Press all 4 corners of the feet of the mat. Exhale, ground down. Inhale, bring that energy up as you lengthen through the spine, relax the shoulders, palms face forward. Gaze is soft, looking straight ahead. On your next inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, look up. Exhale, forward fold, diving forward with the chest. Hands come to the floor or your legs. Let the head hang heavy. Inhale, halfway lift, coming to that tabletop back, long straight spine, gaze straight down. Exhale, bend your knees as much as you need. Plant your hands, step back to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. And then inhale to cobra, lowering to the belly, relaxing the shoulders down the back. Lower the gaze slightly to the back, but the neck is relaxed, neutral. 1 more breath in here. Exhale, release the forehead to the mat, tuck the toes, lift up to your plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Eventually, downward facing dog becomes more of a resting spot. If you're new to yoga or you don't practice too often, that's a little bit laughable. I remember thinking, how in the world is this a relaxing pose, a resetting pose? But You'll get there. If you need a break, just lower the knees. Let's take one more deep breath in. Slow exhale out. Look at the top of the mat. Step to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, fold. And then inhale to stand. Take your time coming up. Arms come up overhead. And then exhale back to mountain. Palms on either side. Take a breath, take a rest. Notice any difference in how the body feels, how the mind feels. Were you able to drop out of that endless mind chatter and into your body? Were you able to find that connection to the breath? Take a deep breath in here. And exhale, release. And now we'll take our sun salutation B. So similar, but a few extra little efforts required here. So at any time, if you get a little tired, just go back to your sun A's. Follow along as best you can. On an inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale to chair, knees bend, arms rise. Sink your hips back. You want your knees about over your heels. And your heels are going to bear most of the weight. So you should be able to wiggle your toes, maybe look down, see if you need a pedicure anytime soon. Inhale, look up, open the heart. Exhale, forward fold. Just like sun A, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step it back to plank or top of a push-up, and then lower down to your belly. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And right from downward facing dog, we're going to step that right foot to the middle of the mat for warrior one. You're going to spin your back left heel down, so your left toes are about a 45-degree angle. Exhale, ground down into the mat, and then inhale, lift the arms up overhead. So your right knee is bent, your left leg is long. Adjust your stance as you need. You might need to widen your stance a little bit to feel grounded. Pull the left hip forward and the right hip back, so we're squaring our hips and our shoulder points to the top of the mat. Relax the shoulders. One more inhale here. And exhale, bring the hands down to either side of the right foot. Step the right foot back, and we're going to lower through again, all the way to the belly. Take your time. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, press up and back to downward facing dog. And we'll take warrior one on the other side. Step the left foot forward to the middle of the mat. Spin the back right heel down. Exhale to ground down. Gather the energy. Inhale, reach the arms up. Settle into your warrior pose. Pulling the right hip back, or pulling the left hip back, rather, and the right hip forward here. Bending into that front knee. Back heel is down. Relax the shoulders and breathe. Pull the rib cage in. Slight tuck of the tailbone. One more deep breath in. Exhale, slowly take those hands down to frame the foot. Step that left foot back. Lower all the way through. Knees, chest, chin. Inhale to cobra. Just barely lifting the heart off the mat. Remember, you should be able to lift your hands. Deep breath in. Exhale, lower the forehead. Tuck the toes. Press up to plank. Downward facing dog. Lifting the hips up and back. 3 rounds of breath in our downward facing dog. Or again, just lower your knees if you need to. No judgment. Remember to work with your body, not against it. Part of the practice of yoga is the disillusion of the ego. So when we're too focused on what we look like or what we should be doing or comparing ourselves to other people, that allows the ego to go unchecked. And that is where dukkha or sadness and distress kind of comes in. So exhale it out. Let go of any expectations, anything not serving you. It's the end of the week. Let go of all that stress. Let it dump out through the head. Take one more inhale. Exhale, look between your hands. Come to the top of the mat. On your next inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to chair. Drop the hips, knees bend, arms rise. Tuck the belly in, lift the heart. Weight in the heels. And then inhale, press up to stand, arms reach up. Exhale, palms down, finding your mountain pose. Maybe take a moment to close the eyes, reconnect with the breath. Fill up all the way on your inhale, all the way out on the exhale. And we'll take one more round of that sun salutation B. So finding your mountain pose at the top of the mat, feet grounded, hips width distance apart. Feeling strong and stable in the lower body, free and relaxed in the upper body. On an inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Press the feet down as you reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold, diving forward, releasing the torso over the thighs, head hangs heavy. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to chair, knees bend, arms rise, send the hips back. Scooping the tailbone towards the earth, reaching the arms up. One more inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step your feet to the back of the mat, plank or maybe lower to your knees. One more inhale. And then exhale, lower down to your belly. Inhale to cobra, roll the shoulders down the back, lift the heart. Exhale, release. Inhale, press it up and back to downward facing dog. And step the right foot forward, warrior one. Back heel spins down, ground down to lift up. Left hip comes forward, right hip pulls back, squaring your hips and shoulders to the top of the mat. You're doing great. Stay with yourself, breathe in. Maybe sinking a little bit deeper into that lunge. Inhale, reach the arms up a little bit more. Exhale, plant the hands. Step the right foot back. And if you want to go straight to downward facing dog, you can go for it. Otherwise, we're going to lower through. Knees, chest, chin. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, lifting up and back to downward facing dog. Step the left foot forward, bending into that left knee. Right heel spins down, warrior one. Inhale, reach it up. Right hip pulls forward, left hip pulls back. Shoulders and hips facing the top of the mat. Deep breath in. Staying with yourself, allowing your thoughts to fade away. Slight tuck of the tailbone. Maybe bending into that left knee a little bit more. Inhale, reach it up, look up. Exhale, fold forward, bringing your hands to the mat on either side of the left foot. Step that left foot back. Exhale, lower down. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift yourself up. Downward facing dog, finding our resting posture. Maybe our active resting posture. If you're not feeling it, in downward facing dog, 2 more breaths. See if you can slow the breath down. Finding a little ease despite the effort. Finding that balance. On your next inhale, look between your hands. Walk or tiptoe towards the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to chair. Arms come up, drop the hips. Like you're sitting down in a kid's chair. Keep sending the hips back, heart forward. Shoulders are relaxed, gaze up. And then inhale to stand, arms up. Exhale to mountain, hands on either side. Take a breath, take a rest. Maybe closing the eyes. Feeling the prana, that life energy, vitality pumping through the body. Begin to connect with your heart rate and the breath. Beginning to slow everything down. Exhale it all out. Blink open the eyes. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. We're going to take it down to the floor. So exhale, slow motion, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend your knees, lower down. And shift your hips over your heels, walk the hands out, child's pose. Lower the forehead to the mat. You can also widen your knees here, big toes touch, knees to the edges of the mat, allowing the belly to rest between the thighs. Subtle difference depending on what your goal is or what feels good. With the knees wide apart, this becomes a little bit more of a relaxing hip opener. With your knees together, it becomes more of a low back stretch. So you might want to play around with either knees together or knees apart for your child's pose. Take 2 or 3 more rounds of breath here. And then inhale, slowly begin to sit up, walking the hands back in. Shift the hips to one side and extend the legs long out in front of you for a forward fold. So your feet are going to be coming towards you, so your toes are facing you. And your legs don't have to quite touch the mat. If you've got a huge space here, you can prop it up with yoga blocks or pillows. Otherwise, just work with what you got. You don't have to press the legs down too far if they're not reaching the mat. You do want to be sitting up somewhat straight though, so relax the shoulders down the back. On an inhale, bring the arms up overhead. And then we're going to hinge at the hips, so bring the belly over the thighs. Keep the low back straight. And when you can't go any further without curling down, this is where you're at. Just lower the hands to the mat or to your legs. Roll the shoulders down away from the ears. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the head. And then exhale, allow yourself to melt over your legs. Forehead comes down towards the knees. It doesn't have to come down too far. Stay with yourself. Don't go over your edge. Remember to breathe in, working with your body, not against it. Paying attention to more of how it feels than how it looks. We can't see each other anyway, so just enjoy the stretch. 2 more breaths here. And then recalling our standing forward folds, how we kind of rolled up to sit, we're going to take that same notion as we come up from this forward fold. So starting at the base of the tailbone, maybe tucking the belly in a little bit, rolling up from the low spine, lifting up through the shoulders, the chin and the gaze, lift up last. Okay. And then bring the soles of the feet together for bound angle pose. So soles of the feet together, knees splay out. You can walk your feet further away or closer in depending on how much of a stretch you want on the inner thighs. So roll the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, sit up straight, finding that cow-like breath, lifting through the chest, pulling the heart through the shoulders. And then exhaling, forward fold between the legs. You can grab onto your feet. If your forward fold is pretty low, you might want to try wiggling your elbows to the tops of the shins to help wiggle yourself down further. But again, don't push it. It's the same posture whether you're sitting up here or you're all the way to the mat. It's going to change day by day, even hour by hour. So give yourself some grace. Meet your shapes with curiosity and, most importantly, your breath. We'll be here for 2 more rounds of breath. Slow and deep on the inhales. And follow your exhales out through the nose. On your next inhale, slowly come up to sit. Take the hands to the outside of the knees. Close the knees together like a book. And take a few windshield wipers. So prop your hands up behind you. Lower the knees to one side. And then to the other. Inhaling and exhaling. And then bringing the knees up to center. We're going to lower onto our backs. So just gently recline, keeping the knees bent. Walk the heels in towards your hips. We'll take one bridge pose. So you want to keep your gaze straight ahead at the ceiling here. So if you want a little demo, you might want to watch me first. So heels are coming in towards the hips. Maybe you can reach and tickle your heels with your fingertips. Palms facing down next to your hips. And from an inhale, we're going to lift our hips off the mat. We're going to lift from our core. Imagine you have, if you've got a block handy, keeping a block in between your thighs is going to help you get the proper amount of power into the legs to help you with this posture. So if you don't have a block handy, just imagine you've got that yoga block between your thighs. You're going to energetically squeeze those thighs together. On an inhale, press the hands in and the feet into the mat, lifting up through the hips, lifting up through the core. And breathe in here. Keeping the neck relaxed, keeping the gaze straight ahead. Keep pressing the feet into the mat, energetically squeezing those legs together. Relax the butt, relax the face. Maybe noticing the belly expanding on your breaths in, the chest falling on the breaths out. Stay for one more inhale. And on your exhale, starting from this time from the back of the neck, between the shoulder blades, roll the spine down as if you're closing a zipper, rolling that zipper down. Remove that prop if you had one between the legs. And then shift the feet a little bit over to the left side of the mat and drop the knees to the right. We'll take a supine twist, so a twist on our back. So knees to the right, extend the left arm next to you and look over the left shoulder. Knees to the right, gaze to the left. If you want a deeper stretch, you can draw the knees up closer towards the top of the mat. If you went a little too far, you can lower the knees towards the bottom of the mat. Spend 2 rounds of breath here. Relaxing the jaw. And then inhale, look up at the sky, look up the ceiling. Bring the knees back to center. And walk the feet over to the opposite side of the mat, over towards the right. Lower the knees to the left, which means our gaze and our right arm goes out over the right. So knees to the left, gaze to the right. Again, adjusting your twist as much as you need to feel a good release. Relax the shoulder blades onto the mat. Begin to let gravity draw you down. Final breath in here. And final exhale. And inhale, look straight ahead, bring the knees up. And lift the knees in towards your chest, wrap the forearms around the shins, tuck yourself in like a tiny ball. Lifting your shoulder blades off the mat, drawing the forehead to the knees, squeeze it in, make a really ugly face. Squeeze everything as tight as you can, and then exhale, release it down. Lengthening the legs onto the mat, releasing the arms to your side. And the final posture of any yoga class is Shavasana, which means corpse pose. From that you can gather what you're supposed to do here. We're just laying down and releasing. This is arguably the most important posture of the yoga class. Like anything in life, we need that time for reflection, relaxation, the breath out to our breath in. So just take a couple breaths here, relaxing the jaw and the chest. Relax the belly and release the breath. Soften the legs. And then begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Roll the wrists and the ankles. Bring some life back to the body. Point the toes, reach the arms up overhead, taking a big stretch. And then exhale, curling to one side, tucking into yourself. And when you're ready, gently pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat. Again, whatever posture makes the most sense is most comfortable for you. Roll the shoulders down the back, keep the eyes closed or softly gazing down in front of you. Bring the palms together, heart center, gazing down at your fingertips. Take a deep breath in. Open mouth, exhale to release. Release the palms. Lift your gaze. And that's our practice. I hope you enjoyed this little introduction to Sun Salutation A and Sun Salutation B. You can find it really easily anywhere on the internet. So if you liked that little flow, I highly encourage you to just start there. Just start with that practice. If you're looking for more yoga in your life, I just opened my online studio, my website. I teach 3 classes a week, twice on the website through our YouTube, and once on Sundays, a relaxing by donation flow on Instagram Live. So I think my website, I will put my website in the chat if it's not already there. I also have a membership program. You get a one-on-one yoga consultation with me, an hour-long class designed for you. You'll get all 3 classes per week, as well as access to my class library, which has lots of class videos of all the recordings of the classes I've done, so you have access to that. And I also have a meditation coming up at the end of the month, August 31st, my monthly meditation meetup. Most of the proceeds from this class will go to a local nonprofit. You can read about the nonprofit that I've selected, I'm working with. It's called Black Mamas ATX. And that information is on my website as well, or on my Carly Asana Facebook page. So thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them up on the chat. I'll hang out for just a second, see if I missed anything, but let me know. Otherwise, I hope to see you again soon. Carly Asana is my yoga name, my yoga page. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. And my website will post up there as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Stay well, drink your water, and move as much as you can. Thanks, y'all. Let's see. Yes, thank you. Got the post up there, the link up there. It was good to see y'all. All right. Take care and check out Stetson University Alumni Association upcoming events. And staying in contact with each other is super important during this time. They've had lots of great facilitators and Facebook Live takeovers. All right. Yes, thank you all. Oh, we've got a request. Let's see. I should introduce you to my yoga assistant. He does show up in several of my videos. His name is Bodhi. He's currently working on his yoga teacher certification, and this is him. This is Bodhi. He assists a lot in classes, so he is part of the package deal if you take any of my classes, so you might see him soon. All right, thanks y'all. Have a great weekend, a great Friday, and hopefully I'll see you soon on the virtual mat.